Hi everyone, welcome back to Function Pilates. I'm Vanessa Kelly, founder of Function Pilates located here in Tempe, Arizona. I'm here back again with another reformer workout. This is Pilates for Dummies, or in other words, Pilates for very beginner-like type of students out there or you at home that are practicing. So we are going to be working on a balanced body piece of equipment, and I will be going over the recommended spring settings with you for those that are working on a different model at home. But really this workout is the basics, the fundamentals that get you going in Pilates. So if you are brand new to the channel, welcome. I have over 50 reformer workouts here. Everything is divided into those playlists. Also information if you are interested in becoming a Pilates instructor or enhancing your Pilates knowledge so you can put together your own workouts at home. Take a look at the description box below. There's a link there about our virtual teacher training program that is coming up here in the fall. And also if you are interested in becoming a business owner, a Pilates studio owner, owning your own Pilates studio, Function Pilates is a groundbreaking franchise. We're registered in over 30 states, and I would love to talk more about how you can get started with opening one in your neighborhood. For those instructors out there that are looking and have their own type of studio and you want to bring in students into your studio, you can become a master trainer with the Function Pilates teacher training program. And if you're interested in that and how to generate some extra income for your studio and extra Pilates instructors, you can also email for that information. Recommended workouts will be here, linked below as well, and any other information, feel free to contact me, and I would love to hear more about your comments and your Pilates journey. I begin by setting up our footwork. So I have on 3.5 springs, which is 2 reds, 1 green, and 1 yellow spring. So finding that medium to heavy weight for you where you're gonna feel this work in your legs, in your quads and hamstrings, and then lie yourself back down. Take a moment to stretch out your low back and just getting yourself grounded and prepared for our workout today. Maybe draw those knees into the chest to stretch out through the low back and allowing yourself to take some deep breaths here. We're gonna start with footwork. So heels are gonna go on the foot bar, parallel hip distance apart, and go ahead and stretch your legs out to standing position and continue to find a pattern, a flow here where you're not crashing into the stopper, but you're not locking your leg out entirely. We do want full extension as you stretch and start to initiate this process through your hamstrings, through the entire back side of your leg. Once you feel good about this, we're doing about 10 repetitions. We're gonna move down to your toes, staying parallel, and allow those heels to have a gentle lift to them. So the goal would be to press equally through the ball of your foot. Even if you need to glance up and look at your toes, make sure that all of your toes are evenly pressing against that foot bar as well. Beautiful. This may feel harder since you're on your toes because the distance is just longer. Good. Just keeping it nice and simple here. We'll bring it into our first position, which is heels together, toes apart, and then go ahead and exhale, stretch it out. So let's really focus on those inner thighs. As you go to standing legs, squeeze through those inner thighs. Think of lifting up from your pelvic floor and scooping your abdominals down and in. So think belly button towards the floor here. We're trying to create that nice deep connection through the pelvic floor and the abdominal muscles. Good, heels are hugging together the entire time. Next position, heels are up on top of that foot bar in a wider stance with a slight external rotation from your hip socket. Perfect. Again, think about the equal pressure through the heels so you're not dominating from one side to the next. And then challenge yourself to eliminate any type of swaying with your feet. So meaning think of your feet up against a wall here and trying to maintain that connection the entire time. You're gonna feel your calves work even harder. Let's drop it down to your toes, same wide position. Again, we're challenging that distance. So it's going to feel a little bit harder when you're on your toes. Beautiful. And then taking this into the next step, focus on your rib cage expanding as you inhale through your nose, and as you exhale through the mouth, think of your rib cage narrowing here. So it's almost like this accordion, getting wider and then pulling back in together. Good. Toes are on that foot bar about hip distance, and then we're just going to go into a gentle calf raise. So lowering those heels with control, and then challenge yourself to control those heels on the lift up. Perfect. Nice deep breathing. Do an internal check with yourself. So are the neck and shoulders relaxed? Are your palms flat? Good. And then take it into what we call running here. So you're just gently switching from one leg to the other, a soft bend at the elbow as you drop the opposite heel under. You're going to feel that stretch. You're going to feel the articulation and the work through the ankles and feet. One final stretch there as you drop both heels under, and then bend those knees and return home. So as you exit the reformer, go ahead and roll off to your side and then sit yourself up. You're going to drop it down to 2.5 springs, which is 2 reds and 1 blue spring, or just 2 springs in general. So find what works best for you as we move into our single leg footwork. Lie yourself back down again, and then begin to position both heels on that foot bar in parallel. And then once you're ready, we're going to take the right leg into a tabletop position and push out with that left heel. So again, your right leg that's floating in the air is a static position. You're pointing out through those toes, and it's a very energetic tabletop, even though it's not doing anything. The mover is that left leg. So as you press out, again, think about pushing equally into the left heel, stretching out that entire left side. Beautiful. Set that right heel on, left leg goes up in a tabletop, and we'll continue. So again, relax through those neck and shoulders. Think about your breath here, because we want to avoid holding on to our breath. Even if you're opposite of what I'm seeing, it's just good and natural just to start breathing and finding that pattern here. About 10 repetitions on each side. And then return back home. So we'll move it down to your toes. So again, another challenge here. Right leg back into that tabletop position as you push out through that left ball of your foot. Good. So the toes are again pressing equally into that foot bar. Pelvis and hips are super stable. And again, we want to have equal weight on both sides, since doing single leg work is already challenging enough. Perfect. Return home, switching sides, left leg in tabletop. Again, a very energetic, static tabletop position. So every time you press out with that right side, think about scooping your belly button down and in. It'll help to keep those hips in place and secure. Nice. Beautiful job. Return in all the way, and once again roll off to your side, and we're going to sit ourselves back up again. So we're going to go into a supine ab series here, and I dropped it down to a red and a yellow, which is 1 1/4 springs. It's a light to medium weight, so if you're working on another piece of equipment, find that light to medium weight. Hands in those handles, legs are in tabletop, one at a time. And then from here, I'm going to have you draw your knees in a little closer to your chest, and then press those palms into the handles to lower. Your arms are just going to hover off the carriage, but they're going to come all the way down next to your hips, so be mindful about that. And one way that I want your knees into your chest here is that it's helping to assist you imprint your spine, so your low back should feel like it's a little flatter, a little longer, to avoid any discomfort. Perfect. Drop those legs down, take a moment to reset. Arms come back out to a T, and then when you're ready, one leg back at a time into that tabletop position. Exhale, pull those palms in towards the hips. Remember, it's better to have the knees a little bit closer to your chest and the heels lifted higher to eliminate that low back discomfort, especially if you're just starting and the abs feel a little weaker right now. You'll get stronger. Good. Exhale to pull the palms in. Inhale to open. Exhale and inhale. And then carefully dropping those legs back down again. Perfect. So we're going to combine that together. So legs back into that tabletop position. Press those arms down. Open wide to a T and then send those fingertips back to the ceiling. So we're going to focus on creating these circles in a more mechanical way. This way we're conditioning the shoulder and we have complete control over the straps. The straps are not going to control us. Good. Just taking your time with this, focusing on that breath pattern and your form. Anywhere from 5 to 10 repetitions before you want to reverse this direction. If you need to take a break, that's totally fine, and then you can go ahead and get back into it once you're ready. So this time, arms are going to go out to a T. Exhale, pull those palms in. Inhale to float up. Exhale, pull in. Inhale to float up. Beautiful. Pilates is all about control, all about finding that balance and coordination. So it's better to go a little slower. This way everything's intentional. There's purpose behind it. Beautiful. Just creating that internal heat in your body with your breath. Drop those legs down. Take another moment. If you need a windshield wipe the knees, go ahead and do that. And then we're going to go into a tricep press. So start with those elbows bent, hovering next to the rib cage, and then begin to straighten out your arms and then bend your elbows. So avoid any jerky movements or anything that's super fast. Really focus on facilitating the movement from the triceps, so the back of the arm. So do you feel that heating up? Do you feel the contraction there? Beautiful. Arms come back up and then take another breather. Nice. Keep those hands in the straps. Bring those legs back to tabletop. Take an exhale to curl that head and chest up. So we're adding a little bit of flexion here, just getting a good sense of what this feels like. If for some reason you have neck or spinal issues, you can avoid the curl up. Perfect. Now, if you're feeling good and strong today, extend those legs out to find that deeper challenge. And these are all of the progressions that are made in Pilates. So that's why there's so many great modifications that can be made and so many great ways to track your progress. Once you're ready, hang those up and then again, roll off to the side and we'll sit ourselves back up again. Okay. So from here, let's go ahead. If you don't already have your loops on, switch those out. You can keep your headrest where it's at, or you can make it completely flat. It's up to you. And then go ahead and you can switch the springs so that you're on a red and a blue spring or 1.5 springs. So again, more of a medium weight, nothing super light, nothing super heavy, so that we can do our feet in the straps here. As you have your feet straight up towards the ceiling, just taking a moment, we're going to begin to slowly feel like those sits bones are equally pressing in the carriage and lower the legs straight down towards the floor. So do you feel like your back is beginning to arch? That is not where you want to be. So you want to be able to maintain all the natural curves of your spine and keep that tailbone grounded and not lifting up. So you want to find that happy medium. So lowering down to your challenge point and then lifting back up. All of the work that we're doing here with the feet in the straps is all about strengthening through the hips, through the core region. Our hips take in a lot of stress from the lower limbs, and it also supports our spine, our torso. So going into frog here, heels together, toes apart, think of the knees only coming over the hips to create more inner thigh work. Beautiful. Keep those feet flexed and challenging yourself to keep the heels hugging together. Perfect. We'll add in some circles here. So take those all the way around into the range of motion where it feels like you're still in control of your straps. That might be a little smaller than you anticipated, but if you start to go wide and feel shaky or wobbly, you know that you've gone too far for today. The goal here with our hip circles is that we're lubricating the hip joints. We're creating that fluid so that we can avoid tension and stiffness through our low back, through our hips. Reverse when you're ready that direction. And again, relax through your shoulders, through your neck. Just focus on the breath work as you're going through each movement. And it should feel good. It's like this is the dessert of Pilates right here. Perfect. Let's lower it down to about 45, heels together, toes apart. Open out those legs to the side into a saddle and then squeeze those heels back together. So think of those inner thighs activating like magnets. They're being drawn together here. Think about your heels just on a table, sliding across the table on the same plane. Beautiful. Draw that belly down and in to get more stronger, connected. And again, anywhere from 5 to 10 repetitions on this. Bend those knees into the chest and give yourself a little Buddha stretch here where the soles of the feet come together and the knees fall off to the side. And once you're done, you can carefully remove one foot out, find your foot bar right away, and then return all the way back in. Perfect. So we're going to go into some spinal articulation. So headrest is going to go down flat. We call this bridging. I have 2 reds and a blue spring on. So this is going to be your more beginner type of springs. So 2.5 springs is a little bit heavier. So remember back to single leg footwork, those types of springs. Go ahead and adjust your heels on that foot bar. And then once you're ready, peel your spine up, lift your hips high, and then take a breath there. Begin to roll your spine down with the tailbone being the last thing to touch. So firmly press your palms into the carriage, activate those triceps, peel your spine up, give it a hold at the top, and then exhale to roll back down. So we're articulating the spine to peel up on top of our shoulder blades. Think of your knees reaching away from you, and then as you roll back down, your hamstrings, the back of your legs, your butt is what should be feeling the work here. Perfect. If you're feeling good, let's add extension. So as those hips are stay lifted, you're straightening your legs and then you're bending your knees. It's not always easy. And then roll yourself down gently and return back. Good. So we'll come all the way up and we'll go ahead into a stretch here. So moving it down to 1 red spring, 1 light spring, I should say. and then go into your eaves lunge. So one foot is supported by the shoulder block, the standing leg's on the floor, and then align your knee with your ankle. Once you've done that, the second part of the stretch is the hamstring stretch. So now that right leg is going to stay straight as you push out. So with that being said, going back to your eaves lunge, this is your hip flexor stretch. You should feel this in the front of your left hip. And then once you straighten out that right leg, you should feel it in the back of the right thigh. Shoulders are down. Good. Bring it in. We'll walk ourselves to the other side. Set ourselves up where the right foot is supported by that shoulder block. Left foot's on the floor. Knee is over ankle. Chest is lifted. Arms are long. Yes, push your hips forward. Lift your chest up. Come back in. Square out those hips and send the carriage out as you keep your left leg straight. Shoulders down. One more time. Eaves lunge. Bend at that left knee. Keep your chest lifted. Don't bend your elbows. Finish it with the standing lunge. Left leg is straight. Hips are squared. Perfect. And bring it back in. Good. Okay, so then for our next exercise, we're going to go into elephant. So we're going to have our heels supported against the shoulder blocks. You're in this nice flat position with the spine. Arms are long. Think of the fingertips reaching. We're just pressing the carriage out. So there's no upper body movement here. So as you get acquainted with this exercise, think of your abdominals pulling the carriage in towards the stopper. Now, if this is too much on your hamstrings, like you're feeling your back of the leg stretch too much, just walk your feet a little bit more forward. It's going to still be the same idea where the upper body isn't moving. Scoop that belly, drive it in. It's an exhalation to pull in, it's an inhale to go out. And then carefully return and come back down. All right, so let's move into our arm series. We're going to use the box here. I'm a big fan of the box where it's going to make this a little easier so that you're in a more comfortable position, but you can focus more on the exercise itself. So if you need to cross your ankles and let those knees fall off, go ahead and do that. But as your hands are in the loops here, we're going to go into a chest expansion. So as you exhale and press those arms back, generate the muscle group behind your armpit. Think of that contracting. Are your shoulders lifting too high? If they are, you've hit your stopping point. So only pull back once you feel those shoulders creep up to your ears. Again, less is more. Beautiful. Abs are in and sitting up nice and tall. Take it to a bicep curl. So palms are going to look at you. There's a soft bend at the elbow. Think of your elbows staying in place, not dropping down. But really the goal here with our sitting arm series is, yes, of course, we're working on building upper body strength, but if you're sitting here for quite some time, focus on the muscles in your low back. How challenging is that to build strength in those postural muscles? It's very rare that we have that ability to sit up tall the entire time before we want to slouch. Cross those straps over. We're going to go into your teacups. So elbows in next to the body, and just think of opening up a book here as you externally rotate. So a couple different things here, muscle focus. Your upper back, this is strengthening your upper back. This is also going to strengthen the external rotators of the shoulder here. So think of that as well. Nice and tall, looking straight ahead. Beautiful. And then go ahead and uncross that. Let's hang it up. We're going to turn ourselves around to work the front of the body. Grab a hold of those loops. If you need to make modifications with the tension here, feel free to do that. And then we're going to deliver the tray. So the palms are up. We're going to straighten our arms out in front of us to just about shoulder level, maybe slightly below it. I'd rather the palms be slightly below the shoulder to not risk the shoulders creeping up, if that makes sense. And then really focus on keeping that static position of your torso so you're super stable. Exhale, reach, and then open out wide to a T. We're going to go right into hug a tree. So fingertips pull in together and they open. Nice and wide. Keeping those arms in your peripheral vision as they open to a T. So you're working the pectoral muscles here. So the front of the chest and nice strong shoulders. It's a soft bend at the elbow. Let's bring it down. Let's reach those arms overhead for salute. So they're right at the eyebrow. Elbows are wide, and then think of straightening your arms to reach where the wall and the ceiling meet. Focus on the tricep being the most active muscle group here as well. So the back of the arm. Pull that belly in, staying strong and engaged through your abs. Beautiful. Exhale, reach, and then go ahead and return and come all the way back in. Hang that up carefully. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and take our foot bar down flat. We're going to head into side overs for some lateral flexion. So attach all those springs on there for me so that you're safe and secure. And then go ahead and grab a hold of your safety strap. Turning to one side here. Hand on the headrest, opposite hand in front of your chest or behind the back of the head, whatever feels better and more natural to you. Go ahead and bend through that elbow as you dip over into the well, and then exhale it up. So as you get acquainted with this and get stronger, then you can build. You can disconnect the hand from the headrest as you laterally flex up. So it's a side crunch where you're feeling those obliques really starting to work here. Good. You can always go back to the headrest, or you can challenge yourself to more of that intermediate exercise where both hands are going to be behind the head. Just think about keeping your head straight and pushing your head back into your hands. Once you're ready, take that dive down, rotate for a final stretch, and then carefully walk yourself back up, and we'll turn to the other side. Good. So securing your foot back into position here, we're going to start all over since it's the same side. So left hand on that headrest, go ahead and dip it down, exhale it up. So super stable through the lower body. And once you're feeling good, you can again progress here. So you can disconnect the hand from the headrest, lowering and lifting. Beautiful. Look straight ahead, keep pressing your head into your hands. I know that feels challenging. This is where you receive the most benefit through those obliques. Dip carefully down, exhale it up. Elbows are wide. It's almost as if they're reaching to opposite sides of the room. And then go ahead and carefully come back down for that rotation and that stretch. Perfect. So the goal with Pilates is to create a full body workout and really allowing yourself to get into all planes of motion in a healthy spine. So let's finish it off with back extension. We're now at a long box, vertical, up against the shoulder blocks, and I dropped it to a half spring. So for me, that's a blue spring. On your stomach, grab a hold of the ropes and roll them over your hand one more time. Begin to bring those arms behind you up to your hips. And we've done this several times in other exercises, but it's going to feel a lot different just because you're on your stomach And then make sure those legs are separated, so a little bit wider than the box if need be, but the legs are energetic here. So allow them, the toes, to reach behind you. And then when you're feeling good about this, think of lifting your chest up to get even stronger through the back side of the body. Beautiful, lifting and lowering. Drawing those shoulders down the back pockets here. From here, unravel the rope so you're back to just holding onto the rope above the metal clip, and then pull those pinkies in towards your hips. So you can maintain neutral position here where you're not adding extension, or when you feel comfortable, that's when you'll want to lift your chest up. But be mindful that your neck isn't coming up as well. You're not breaking the neck here where you're lifting your chin. So keep your eyesight down on the floor to maintain the integrity of your neck, your cervical spine in line with the rest of your spine. Beautiful job. Keep breathing for me. Keep those legs energized. And then return and come back in. Gorgeous. Take a moment, relax everything. And then when you're ready, carefully go and exit off to the side here. And we're gonna finish it with a couple roll downs. So just a great way to check in with yourself. So stand tall, go and reach those arms up, take a dive down. And then once you're ready, focus on rebuilding your spine here as you stack one vertebra on top of the other. Shoulder roll back. Again, let's reach those arms up, take a dive down. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was beneficial to you. If you liked it, hit a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and I hope to see you next time.